Okay, just have to set the white balance. Can just use this. Perfect. Okay, so as an early career videographer, should you niche down your skills or keep them broad and wide? That's another way of saying, should you have specific skills or should you be a jack of all trades? I've recently come to the conclusion that I want a new job. I've been at my current position for about 2.5 years, and it's had its ups and downs. I've definitely learned some things, but I haven't learned a lot of other things. And that's kind of the main reason why I want to think about broadening my horizons when it comes to my career. Not only are there just some fundamental issues that I have with the company that I work for, but I am the solo videographer at the company. I do all the videography for both for long form and for short form. I do all the photography, I do all the video editing, I do all the most of the photo editing. And this is my first like truly real job outside of college. So I have learned a lot about myself when it comes to this job because I work alone, but I haven't learned from others very much. Specifically, I'm missing a sense of collaboration. I'm missing the ability to bounce ideas off of other people's brains. I don't have the opportunity to ask questions to someone that is really knowledgeable about the work and has maybe more experience than I do. I'm kind of just doing my best with the knowledge that I already have and that I've self-taught myself even at this job, and I'm 28 years old, so it's not really it's not the level of work or the level of professional that I want to be at in my career. Now, if you want a whole breakdown about why I think that it's time for me to leave this position after being here for 2.5 years, let me know. Let me know down in the comments below, and I will be happy to share that, especially when I do end up leaving the job. I won't talk smack about the company or the individual people. I'm just at a point in my career where I want to be learning from other people, and I can't just be working alone all the time. So this obviously isn't the first time I've applied for jobs before. I was able to land my current job going through the whole application process a couple years ago, back in 2022 and 2023. At the time, I was more freshly out of college, so I didn't have a lot of tangible experience. I did have what I learned in school, but I went to film school, so it was very film industry centric. So I came out of college with all of this film knowledge in theory, but not anything about the videography industry itself. I was also desperate for a job, and the job market was pretty bad at that time. So the only option that I felt like I had was that I just had to apply to as many jobs as possible. And that's also that's a piece of advice that I heard a lot on the internet as well. Like, you know, you just kind of like cast your net out like as wide as possible. The skills that I did have, which were related to YouTube, did end up translating well to the job that I ended up getting, and they even cited my experience with YouTube as a reason why they hired me. But in reality, I kind of just took the first job that I could get because I was desperate, and I think they kind of chose the first person that applied, and I got in there I was like the second person that applied for the job. And I think it's worth noting that, yeah, I didn't have like a lot of strategy going into my job applications. Like, I was just applying to as many jobs as possible. I was desperate. I was unfocused, like specifically about applying for jobs, but also unfocused in my career and what I really wanted to be doing. So therefore, I wasn't super motivated. I was still applying for jobs every day, at least one, but I wasn't motivated about pushing my career forward. And really at the time, I was just focused on getting a job so I could make some money, so I could move out and get my life rolling outside of my career more. But now that I have advanced some things in my personal life, I've addressed some, and I talked about, well, it's hard to remember. I'm doing 2 YouTube channels right now. I'm trying to post once every 2 weeks on each one, but like overlapping. So in the last video on this channel, I talked a lot about like my reasons for wanting to start making YouTube videos again. But on my other channel, which is like my main channel, if you could call it that, I haven't posted on it since like 2021, and before that it was like 2018 or something. But over there I discussed more of like the personal reasons, like the more intimate reasons why I wanted to just be more creative and post videos on YouTube whether anyone watched them or not. And some of the reasons that derailed my life, including my career. So all that to say, I patched up some personal, stuff in my life. But now that I'm stable, I'm kind of like, okay, I've gotten what I wanted out of the job that I took, and all of the downsides that I'm experiencing while working there are like really just not worth it anymore. I mean, they were never really worth it. Like, ask my girlfriend. She'll tell you that I should have probably packed up and ran a long time ago. Her and I are gonna be moving in together next year, and I am on this crusade now to like better my life, both personally and career-wise, by making YouTube videos and trying to learn more. So it's time to move on. But the question remains. The question is there. As a jack of all trades person, do I try to niche myself down now that, I'm in a privileged position where I have a job and could be more picky. I have more time, technically, like I'm not desperate. I am making money. So what do I do? Well, there's a couple angles that I think it's important to come to this question with. If someone who is in high school or is in college is asking me, is interested in entering the videography industry and is curious about whether they should niche down or not, I would say at that age is basically the time it is advantageous to be a jack of all trades, but coming from the angle of that you're really shopping different niches. Like, you shouldn't spend your college career like trying to master like a bunch of different skills. It is so much more chill to kind of like window shop niches when you're in college. And you have, especially if you're going to film school, you have so many resources at your hand that the school just isn't gonna just give you or tell you what to do with it. Like, I obviously took classes where I had to like shoot films, and I was like instructed on what type of equipment to grab, or maybe making an equipment list was like part of an assignment. But if you're just plainly curious about learning, they're not gonna like just tell you like, oh yeah, just like go rent out some equipment and here's the things that you should be practicing and like go for it. You kind of have to have your own agency about that and make it happen, which is very true in life in general. You kind of just have to make shit happen on your own if you like really want it. And I just don't think when I was in college, I had that mindset of that I could just kind of like experiment and find what I wanted to do based off that experimentation. I also was lacking the motivation to continue to pursue the industry in general. So that's not really conducive for having further complex thoughts like, oh, I should, rent stuff out from the equipment cage and like practice things. You have to be motivated, obviously, to want to do the work, but then you have to have the knowledge and specifically have the mental freedom and agency to know that you can just like go do something like that. Or if you can't rent stuff out, it's like, oh my God, like a big one is like you have so many people around you. Get your friends together and like get them to help you figure this out, because like the reality of the industry is that you don't work alone. Like unless you own your own business, typically you're working with other people. So like you don't need to know everything. You just need to know what path you want to go down and what specific skills that you want to specialize in. So while you're in high school or in college, just take the time to experiment. The longer you wait, the harder it's going to be, and the heavier the decision of picking a niche feels. One of the reasons why I've had such a hard time with it is that I'm 28 now. So like I feel like there's a lot of weight on that decision. And I know in my brain that I'm not making like a life decision. Like I'm not deciding what my entire future is gonna be by picking a niche to specialize in video. But it kind of feels like that a little bit. And these questions go through your head. What if I make the wrong decision? What if I'm not good at the niche that I pick? What if I find the work depressing but I end up getting a job in it and I hate it? Well, I already don't love my job. And being a jack of all trades is what's gotten me into this position. Also, I hope I'm not clipping this audio. I am sorry if I am. I can't hear it. I don't know. I can just see the waveform, and I see the master volume is clipping every once in a while. But again, I have the privilege of having a job. So I can also take my time with picking the niche out a little bit and do some experimenting, because I already have some ideas of what I might want to do in mind. And I'll get to those in a little bit, but I've just looked at my bullet point list and I got more stuff to say. So let's keep going. Our world is moving fast. Tech moves fast. The industry is changing all the time. Even if you were somehow at the age of 22, like able to like master the art of cinematography, of audio capture, of like gaffing and lighting, all this stuff in like 10 years, like you're gonna be behind and you're gonna have to learn all that stuff again or just continue to learn. But if you're just focused on one thing, then it's easier to keep up. And the last big part I would say is confidence and imposter syndrome. I am confident in some things. Like I said, part of the reason why I got my current job was that I had experience with shooting YouTube videos and like managing a YouTube channel. So I did have confidence there, and that's probably one of the things I've been the most confident about when it has come to this job. But if I was just like shooting like corporate interviews as my career and I got really good at it, I would be so less stressed. Like I'm so stressed all the time because I feel like I don't have enough skill in all these jobs that I see applications for. And I feel like if I apply to them, then I'll be an imposter, because I saw one and it was like an assistant camera person for like a marketing agency. I was like, dang, like I feel like I could do that. And I feel like I will apply because I bet if I was there, I could adapt well and like learn the ropes and like get myself into it. But I have this like massive feeling of imposter syndrome because I haven't really spent the time to master the art of marketing video or shooting commercials. Like I don't know a lot about that stuff. But if I had a niche and I was applying to jobs within my niche, the confidence would obviously come with it. And it would also kind of open up the opportunity more to just like contact businesses directly, whether they have job openings or not, and just be like, hey, like I have a lot of experience shooting real estate video and I see that you guys do some great work. Here's my portfolio. Like, can we work something out? If I didn't have direct skill in doing real estate video, I'm not going to be confident enough to do something like that, to like contact a business and be like, hey, like I know how to shoot videos, and I've shot like 10 billion really like different types of video that none of them are specifically real estate, but I bet if you gave me a chance, I bet I could learn. I bet I could. Can you give me the job, please? I'm trying to be smarter with the next job I apply to. I've kind of alluded to what my thoughts are about what my niche might be, but so far, real estate, video, and photo, and I just heard something in the wall. Right. And also like corporate style video, like interviews, like promo videos for like companies and stuff. I do like doing creative work in my career. I don't know. I got really jaded creatively over the last few years for many reasons, but I'm kind of liking the idea of separating my work and my art. That's obviously something you hear a lot, like don't make your hobby or your passion into your career because it's just gonna ruin it for you. I'm lucky that it hasn't ruined it for me 100%, but I definitely prefer doing creative things on my own time rather than trying to incorporate creativity into my work. Real estate, video, and photo is kind of like more technical. It's a little bit more cookie cutter, a little bit more straightforward, but I kind of like that because then I could come home and have like a clear creative brain to make my own, content on my own time. So that's that. I don't know. This video is running a little bit long, so we're gonna start wrapping it up here. In conclusion, I would say if you are young, then you just start learning everything. Start learning all sorts of stuff, but specifically come at it with the mindset and from the angle of that you are testing what you enjoy doing or what you're good at doing so that you can later double down on learning those skills so that you are more marketable when you're older, you're more confident when you're going into the workforce, and you're just simply able to do your work better. Second thing, take the weight of the decision off of your shoulders, especially if you're someone like me who's older. Try to take the weight off of your shoulders. It's not gonna be like a decision that is gonna affect the rest of your life. You don't have to do this work forever. You can switch things up in as little as a year from now. Like, it's more flexible than it feels. So you have to try to remember that. And lastly, confidence is like absolutely key. You can do more jobs, do more cool jobs, probably make a lot more money if you're just super confident in your work, and that comes with being focused and putting the time and effort in to make sure that you're the most knowledgeable person in the room. And that's about it. Thank you for watching. Stay tuned to find out what niche I end up choosing to do. I'll make some videos about me experimenting with different stuff. Stick out for those. Like and subscribe. Good luck out there, and remember, at the end of the day, just roll with it.